All right, guys, let's get winding down and get to talking about some news this week. We got a lot to talk about, guys. Shazam, the box office going on with that, y'all. 30 million domestic. We'll talk about it for sure. James Gunn is directing a Superman movie. We got Mia Goth and Andrew Garfield in a new Guillermo del Toro movie. Guys, there's a lot to talk about this week, including all those things and more. But let me not wait too much longer, guys. Let me get my co-host in here at Marcel's Durden on Twitter. Loretto, what's going on, man? How are you?
Good evening. Doing rather swell, sir. How are you over there?
I'm okay. I'm a little under the weather, but doing as good as I can. But
Sorry
glad
to
to be
hear that,
chatting
man.
with you, man. Glad to be chatting with you. We
Always good
got
to talk shop.
yeah, man. Always good to chat it up, man. We got our girl Rhea in the building.
What's up,
What's
Rhea?
going on? Frog Eater's got a comment already about Shazam 2 saying it's badly marketed. I agree, which it feels kind of weird to say considering how many clips there are out there. But yeah, it has felt like the marketing hasn't been that great. But we'll talk about that in a little while. We got Sly the movie guy and G Kobe P in the house as well, and Curious Jojo. Welcome everybody. Hate that it's doing bad. Hasn't even seen Shazam 2 yet. But yeah, we'll get to chatting about that, y'all. We'll get to chatting about the buzz. And Lo just saw it today and actually liked it. So we will be chatting about it. I
I
can't wait to
didn't hate
talk.
it. I didn't hate it.
And I feel that I've been coming off like I do hate it. I don't necessarily hate it. I think I hate what's going on with the DCEU more so than hating the movie. So we'll talk about that in a little while. But first off, let's get to our first segment, 1 to 10, where we rank our anticipation for upcoming movies from scale from 1 to 10. We're starting with The Little Mermaid, which came out with a trailer last week. And since it was Oscars, we didn't get to dive too deep into that one, deep down under sea. But Lo, man, where are you feeling? Little Mermaid. We got Halle Bailey looking great as Ariel, in my opinion. We've got these cool underwater creatures, which look maybe a little comparable to like Lion King live action type stuff. But how you feeling, man? We got the trailer last week. What you think? How you feeling about this movie from a scale of 1 to 10?
So let me just preface this by saying I love the original film. The original Little Mermaid's a classic. Kicked off the Disney Renaissance back in 1989, if I'm correct.
Correct.
But watching the trailer and also comparing it to the teaser trailer, comparing it to all the hundreds of things the internet wants to complain about this film, I find myself conflicted. But out of faith in the source material as well as Haley herself, is it Haley or Hallie?
Halle Bailey, sorry.
Halle Bailey. Okay,
Yeah.
Halle Bailey. My faith in her as a singer, which is she's got tremendous vocals. I'm at like a 6. I'm at like a 6, maybe 6.5. But here's my thing: I don't think the underwater sequences look as terrible as people are making it out to be. I'll admit there is some lighting issues even in the kiss the girl scene, but my only gripes is with the character animation, which I think that when you do the real life versions of animals, it takes the soul out of what was otherwise lively cartoon characters, and it takes a soul out of them when you lose their facial expressions, when you lose what made their faces animated, so to speak.
Yeah.
But visually, I don't think it's going to be a train wreck like people are saying. I think it's mostly like that teaser was really dark, and I think it was just for that whatever that clip was. But I think it looks like the Under the Sea melody looks like it's going to be colorful and bright, and
Yeah.
I'm hopeful. I feel like I saw a lot more good than bad, but I'm still on the fence on the overall product. So
yeah, I completely get that, man. It feels kind of like almost like these Disney live action remakes. Most of them are like shallow retellings of the originals, and so it's hard to get that excited for any of the new ones that come up when most of them have been a miss. But I will say for this one, Halle Bailey looks incredible as Ariel. I think she looks great. She's got the mannerisms, man. She's got the voice. So I think that's one thing that's really keeping me roped in. I don't think it looks as bad underwater, but I'm with you with the lighting issues. It's very dark. I thought maybe I was being a little crazy when I was saying that when I was watching it, but I was looking at the trailer several times after, and I'm like, no, that first sequence is very dark. Under the water is pretty dark, and I know that aquatically, yes, underwater in reality is how it is. But in the movie, in Little Mermaid, no, you can see everything. You know, I want to be able to. This is a movie. I want to see this stuff going on.
By the way, Triton looked great.
Triton did look good. I agree.
And I think the darkness of the scenes that we're not liking, it'll be greatly contrasted by when it does get bright and big and in the daytime and all that. So
and maybe we'll have some scenes where the light just emphasizes on a character and it's like, okay, the background is a little darker, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm at more of like a 7.5. I think that I'm really looking forward to the songs and stuff, but like you, the animals, we looking a little 2019 Lion King-ish.
Yo, Flounder, Sebastian, I'm just like, yo, they lost their soul. Like, they have no spirit. They're just like little weird little things. Like,
yeah, I was like, is that Flounder over there? That little itty bitty fish? I don't know. It was just kind of weird, man. And then they changed the seagull to something else. It definitely is looking a little bit odd.
Was that a seagull? I don't know what that was.
The original, that character is like a seagull and it's some bird.
No, but I mean the bird that we saw, I was like,
yeah, that wasn't no seagull, bruh. I was like, I don't know what that thing is. But Aquafina's voicing that thing, and we'll see how that goes. Looks like Curious Jojo said, dang, a 6. How you feeling, Jojo? You more like a 10? I don't know. A 6. I honestly, I don't blame you for being at a 6 low. These past ones have been. They haven't shown up, man. They haven't shown up. Little Mermaid slides with you, man. 6 out of 10. Burnt out of the Disney live action remakes. Yeah. Which is weird that Bob Iger would come back and say, hey, we need new Marvel stuff and new Marvel characters. And I'm like, well, how about the Disney side of things where all you're doing is pumping out the remakes? I mean, let's be real. That started with Iger and it just continues to happen. So, imagine Melissa McCarthy as Ursula starts tripping underwater. Yeah,
please don't.
That was another. I was like, that they gave us like a one little side view, and I was like, look, man, I'm not feeling that. That might have dropped it down a little bit for me because I don't know, man. Melissa McCarthy, just the last few roles she's been in, not been great.
Yeah,
like please get her a new agent because that superhero movie she was in a couple of years ago was not
it's
great.
Unfortunate too because she was Oscar nominated not too long ago. She's got really good acting chops. It's just how many times can you do the big funny girl falling down kind of thing, which I think that's what what's his name coding to. So
yeah, it's like how many times can we repeat that shtick? It seems like we keep going back to it over and over.
And really quick, I want to touch on this. I loved Aladdin Jojo. I thought Mina Musa is charming, and Will Smith was fun in his own way as a genie. I loved Aladdin, in my opinion. But
yeah, I was at a little bit more of a like, but I did enjoy the Aladdin live action remake a lot more than I did the Lion King.
Yeah, Jungle Book's my number 1 for sure, but I did like Aladdin.
I got Beauty and the Beast at number 1, and then I've got I think Jungle Book right after that. Yeah, and then
Jungle Book was good, Aladdin. Man. That Idris Elba and
it was good, man. Yeah. I think I really liked Emma Watson as Belle, bro. She was great.
Hey, she was charming, man. And honestly, like that opening town sequence, the bonjour, that gave me chills because that's a part of my childhood, and they really nailed that. So
yeah, they did, man. G. Colby saying that the Jungle Book's been the only really good one. I will say I forgot about one of my top 3, Cruella. I think I got to give number 2 to that, and then 3 to Jungle Book. But that Cruella, I guess you can't even really count that as a live action remake. Really, it's more of like a live action spinoff. So it is what it is with that one. Looks like
technically that's what it is, right?
Right. I'm like, is that a remake? But Ray has enjoyed it. The DreamWorks Kraken animated movie looks great. It really does. But man, Lo, any last thoughts on the Little Mermaid? Hopefully it'll end up showing up and being pretty good. But
well, the hard part is like I don't want to add fuel to the flames because people are just roasting the crap out of it already. And in my opinion, like I'm watching it with a hopeful eye. So
right, man. I'm like, man, people are already out with the pitchforks. And you know why. I mean, let's be real. Exactly. A mermaid's a mythical creature, people. associating it with any race is just kind of weird, but
It's not that serious.
right. People are going to do what they do. But guys, we're going to move on to the roundup, the main meat and the potatoes of the show here, and talk about some news from the week. Lo, take it away, man.
All right, let's get into it. There's been a lot of great stuff, y'all. Lots of great things have been happening. And let's kick it off with some DCEU. So we kind of been speculating, especially the last time we brought this up, but James Gunn officially confirms he is directing the upcoming Superman Legacy for the DCEU. He already confirmed he was writing it, but we were kind of speculating if he would bring in a different director, which I found that method kind of odd. Do you think it's weird that he didn't just go out and say he was writing and directing it? Do you think there was a purpose for that, Leo?
Yeah, I wonder if maybe he was thinking about it. Like maybe he thought he wouldn't be the director and decided like right before announcing it, you know what, I'll take it on. Maybe it was just kind of thinking about it for a little bit.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, I think you and me, we can both agree. I'm super excited. I'm a huge fan of his work, going from the horror stuff like Slither, and he wrote Dawn of the Dead for Zack Snyder, going to Guardians of the Galaxy, and of course the Suicide Squad, which I enjoyed immensely. I'm excited for this project. I think he's going to bring a lot of heart to this tale of Superman. I think he's going to bring a lot of fun to this tale of Superman. Not that, the Man of Steel, Henry Cavill stuff wasn't good, but it was definitely somber and a different kind of Superman than the face of justice and freedom and stuff like that we come to know. And I'm excited for the project. I think he's gonna do a great job. How about you, Leah? I know you're feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, man. I think this is a good matchup. He knows how to make characters so heartfelt and charming, and especially out of characters that we barely know. I can't imagine what he's going to do with the character we really know and how heartfelt and charming he's going to make a character who embodies those character traits, in my opinion, at least, in most comics and most iterations, to some of their highest points. So I definitely think he is a great matchup. I've heard some, people didn't quite like this decision, and it's not because of the Zack Snyder stuff. I've heard some people say they don't really like the decision due to other reasons, and I understand those reasons of maybe thinking it could be a little too goofy or a little too, but I think we need a little dose of like light-heartedness and goofiness in some of the Superman movies, because we've gotten down some dark paths. I mean, yeah. Henry Cavill, listen, looked the part, but yeah, the movies were just dark, and I want to see what James Gunn can do with his voice on Superman. I'm pretty excited.
And I think Dwayne Johnson did enough brooding for the next 4 DC films, guys. So let's see some Clark Kent. Let's see some Kal-El with some spirit, with some life, so to say. Really quick, I want to say I'm excited for this D&D movie. Can't wait to see that come in.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. I've heard nothing but great things.
And to speak on this, Colby, I agree with you. James Gunn hasn't missed. The only film I haven't seen is Super, but his work speaks for itself, in my opinion. He's a great filmmaker. He's a great storyteller. So I think we're in good hands here.
Yeah, 100%. This is an interesting question here. Will get James Gunn hire somebody for DCEU besides himself? Well, Safran, but I think that he's also eyeballing directors for other projects. And I mean, right. We thought it would be Ben, but Ben Affleck came out this week and was like, nah, man, I'm good on that. So
yeah, no, and that kind of broke my heart, because I thought that was like an ace in their sleeve right there, that maybe they would get Ben to do Brave and the Bold, or that was something I was kind of hopeful for. So
yeah, I wonder if it has to do with the things that happened to him during the time of filming BVS and stuff and filming Justice League. I know he had a lot going on in his personal life, so might be a trigger. I don't know. Who knows? But he does not. It sounds like he does not want to be involved.
And I got to speak to this really quickly from our previous topic. Sly, look, if Melissa McCarthy butchers Unfortunate Souls, that movie's over for me. Like, that song is so important to the film. I agree with you. If she doesn't nail that, then that's gonna be a big trouble for Little Mermaid, in my opinion. And speaking to this, Colby says, is Gunn's DCEU going to be more director driven? I hope so. I think, the more directors put their personality and their spin on these tales, I think audiences will take to it better. I think it'll speak volumes for the work they're trying to create, especially with the connectivity. And I think the MCU kind of laid the blueprint for letting directors kind of do what they do, but also do it within the scheme of the universe. So, how do you feel about that, Leo?
I definitely think it will be a little more director driven because I feel like the blueprint is the MCU and James Gunn has been under the MCU for years now. So I definitely think he's going into this with a similar mindset of building out a universe that allows people to put their own stamp on it. And so I think he's going to do what the MCU did in its very early inceptions and letting those directors really put their stamp on it and maybe not connecting so hardcore to the universe in some cases. I think some of these movies are going to feel very standalone. I hope most of them do, to be honest with you, because it's getting a little overwhelming with the Flash and No Way Home, and it's like, okay, I'm loving it, but when is it going to hit to a point where it's like, all right, we really don't keep on doing all these team ups every movie? So hopefully we get some nice, good solo stuff, and also, yeah, I think every director attached to a project will be very director driven. And what's going on, Mark Show? Mr. Mark, what's up, man? Mr. Daniel Marks, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Yeah, I have a similar sentiment. I think at some point we can't keep hammering this over the head with, oh, everything's gotta be shared. But at the same time, I think part of the reason why Gunn is trying to keep some kind of fluidity is that if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And I mean, the MCU kind of speaks for itself, and to this date, they're probably the most and only successful universe that's continued to thrive. So whether or not, it's gonna break the mold just yet, I don't think we've reached that point yet, but it's definitely, as fans, as hardcore fans, I think it is exhausting. I think we are not quite feeling the fatigue, but we're starting to get to that tipping point. So hopefully the next bit of news might slow some of that down. But before we go into MCU stuff, let's stick to DCEU and talk about how Shazam Fury and the Gods heavily underperformed this opening weekend with a $30 million haul off of about $125 million budget. So if this drops next week, which it probably will, huge flop for DC, especially not including the marketing. And this is kind of a sad thing for me because as much as I don't think Zachary Levi won me over as much as in the first film, but I thought there was a lot of good things here, especially Dame Helen Mirren was awesome. She didn't really phone this in. I thought she kind of took it more seriously than I thought she would, and she actually put on a good performance. Rachel Zegler was amazing, and yeah, it's kind of a sad thing for me. I think there's a lot of fun things to be had here, and I actually didn't mind the cameo, the big cameo that everyone's getting all up in arms about. I didn't mind it. I thought it fit with the Man of Steel one from the first film, so it just sucks that it's in its transition phase where we don't know what's happening with the DCEU and where this fits. So I think that's my only gripe with it. Leo, you weren't as fond of the film, so I mean, how do you feel about this performance and just the film in general?
No, and I hated the cameo. Hated that cameo. Way to show up and erase any sort of stakes or consequences that came with the movie. But anyway, we'll talk about that in the Shazam section. I don't think it necessarily deserves only 30 million though. Like, I don't necessarily hate it, but like, dang man,
Yeesh.
30 million? That's
Yeesh.
barely anything. I mean, I know on its opening night, it made less than Scream, less than Black Adam. This is less than Black Adam, people. And remember, Black Adam did not perform well for them. So we are seeing a downward slope because right before Black Adam was the Suicide Squad, if I'm not mistaken.
And that actually didn't fare that well either.
So. Yeah, and that was, the HBO Max stuff, and that's kind of what happened with that. And I understand, I'm like, okay, we're excusing the HBO Max, all that stuff, but like now that we're back in theaters and this is only a fraction of what Ant-Man made, yikes. It's kind of telling, and it made me wonder how the Flash is going to do, because they're already pushing Flash stuff. They're already running with that story that Tom Cruise saw the Flash and he loved it, and he's complimenting Andy Muschietti, and I'm like, okay, they really don't care.
But to be fair, the Flash kind of has some tricks up their sleeve as well. They're gonna bank on Michael Keaton and that Batman nostalgia.
Yeah,
so that's gonna push it for sure, whether or not the film's good or not.
Yeah, you got Batman No Way Home in that movie, so you got a lot going for it.
And John Williams in the building. Thanks for joining us. He says, "Love the honesty, Leo, for keeping it real."
Appreciate you, John Williams. I love your scores, bro.
But I mean, look, I'm not surprised. Did I think this film was going to hit 50 million? I did actually. I thought it would hit a little bit more than 30, but I think this just shows how tired audiences are, and also I think it's just the fact that Shazam didn't really have a lot of star power to begin with, and from Black Adam to this, for the fact that Black Adam did so bad and got received so poorly, I think that had a lot to do with Shazam. Like, I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it for me. I think the success of Black Adam totally tanked this particular film. So
it did, and let's be 100%. The Rock going out and just like bugging on the whole Shazam thing, talking about, oh, I only want to fight Henry Cavill, and that did not help this at all, because Shazam is a Black Adam, and Black Adam are enemies. They're arch enemies here. This is your main villain, and he's stepping up saying, I only want to fight Superman. That's like Vegeta being like, forget Goku, bro. I'm going to go fight Piccolo only. It just does not work. So it's like, all right, if you want to make this a cohesive universe, at least get the villains in the same movie as their heroes.
Wait a minute, Leo. Are you saying Piccolo's Superman?
Not at all, bro. I'm just saying you sidestep the main guy, your main adversary, for somebody else. That's just a little deflating for the movie, I think. And not to mention, if you had Black Adam in this movie, that would have brought some money to this film.
That cameo would have made a lot more sense than Gal Gadot. Oh shit! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Look, man, it's not even your fault, because WB has already posted that clip like 70 times.
I know, that's what I was laughing about.
Because I'm like, look, man, they done already spoiled that probably 80 times by now. But chat saying Scream 6 slashing up the superhero movies and literally killing it,
as they should.
Horror right now is riding a high, and I cannot be happier.
From Megan to Scream, they're doing really well.
Yeah, killing it right now. But yeah, man, I definitely I think this spells out a potential problem with the rest of the DCEU here. I just Flash could really lean one way or another, but then also if it bombs, there goes Aquaman 2. Then you just lost a ton of money, and what you gonna do then? You gonna reset the universe, and then you've lost a lot of money. Like, I think Warner Brothers has to really stop and understand these next two need to do bankrolling numbers. I see the G Kobe comment.
I like this comment right here, because he believes in bad, mediocre superhero fatigue. Because between this and Quantumania, I mean, not only did it not bring anything new to the table, that I think that's what's making me exhausted of Cape stuff, is if the movie's just not up to par, it just takes it out of you. And it's like, it honestly makes me not look forward as much to the next film. As much as I want to see Guardians, Quantumania was a huge letdown for me. I don't know about you, but that was a big, big disappointment.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I think for me, both of them were disappointments. And I don't know. I'm not fatigued, honestly. I'm not. I'm not, but I understand the fatigue can really set in when you start the year off with two that are maybe not that mind-blowing. But I mean, listen, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and Across the Spider-Verse coming this summer, I couldn't be more excited.
Right. No, and that's something it's good to keep in mind. As much as, these movies aren't doing so well right now, we got some bangers coming later. So
I completely forgot about one, Tyler. Thank you for saying 3 DC movies. We also got Blue Beetle coming up too. Which, I mean, okay, so Shazam is a somewhat known character. It's gonna be tough for them with that Blue Beetle, man. I really do like Shola Maraduena, but good luck with the marketing for that. If Shazam ended up running like this, it will have legs though. It's only gonna have competition with TMNT. So
what's up, Perp?
What's going on?
It looks like John's in the building. What's up, man? He agrees with you.
What up, John? Yeah, and man.
JoJo's scared for the Blue Beetle. And
yeah, so there we go.
That would be a damn shame, because that kid's great. And you did a great job pronouncing his name. Please, one more time.
Shola Maraduena.
Okay.
Yeah. But
I see the X and it makes me nervous. I'm like, I don't know how to say it.
Hey, man, I had to do some Googling. But I really like Blue Beetle as a superhero, and yes, our first Latin superhero movie. Kind of going to be upsetting to see it not do well if it doesn't. But hey, maybe it could have the Shang-Chi effect. We never know. I mean, hey, we'll have to wait and see.
And I gotta say too, I think that kid's got a lot of charm and a lot of spunk and a lot of
absolutely.
I think I'm not saying necessarily he can carry the film, but I mean, look at someone like Tom Holland that we didn't really relatively know that well, and he took off with the role. And there's a lot of Cobra Kai fans out there. Who knows? I mean, I'm not saying it's gonna bring people into the box office, but at least people like and know him. So
lots of Cobra Kai fans will be lined up for that. What's going on, Zach Attacks? Good to see you, brother.
All right. So with that being said, I'm looking forward to the new phase of DCEU, but I think this transition period is going to continue to be rough, especially Aquaman wasn't getting positive test screenings.
That's
and
right.
I don't know how I feel about The Flash. I'll admit I'm excited to see Michael Keaton, but the fact that I'm going to see The Flash because of Michael Keaton says everything you need to know about that particular film. So
yeah, I'm wondering how much it's going to affect the people who aren't deep into the cape content. Like I'm wondering how much that troublesome behavior is going to affect the ticket sales at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And I think that's such a shame that, especially for Andy Muschietti, to have that just hanging over your production, I couldn't imagine how awful that feels. So with that being said, though, let's keep it moving right along.
Real quick, this is a good comment, though. Will Shazam be in the new DCEU? Nobody knows. Nobody knows, man. Nobody has any idea. Did you check out the two post-credits, Lo? You saw the two post-credits?
I did, actually. I did. And
seems like they set up for some more, but...
Yeah. No, I mean, it's clear they wanted to close out the trilogy, but with the performance right now, they might not even get 100 mil at the end of the month. So I don't know, man.
Even Larry pulling up what's going on, Chili Boy
What's up, Larry?
Productions. Yeah, box office number Shazam is done.
So switching tracks here from the DCEU to the MCU, which kind of started this whole thing. Several of their Disney Plus shows have been delayed, including Loki Season 2, X-Men 97, and Secret Invasion, starring Samuel Jackson and Emilia Clarke, to say the least. I mean, look, as much as I'm excited for these projects, I think the more time we take in making sure the quality and the visual effects and everything is up to snuff, I don't think this is a bad thing. And I heard rumors, I read several different articles on this, and one of the ones I read was very speculative in that they might start pushing back some of the films as well. Like possibly Avengers could get pushed back maybe a year or half a year or so. And again, I think this is for the greater good. Especially with Quantumania's visuals, like some of the stuff that just didn't feel up to par with previous Marvel entries. I think this is a good thing. I think they need to really work on their visual effects. They really need to bring us a quality product and take their time.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you there, bro. I think that the last few projects visually haven't been up to snuff. Well, Wakanda Forever looked great. Thor Ragnarok has some shakiness. This recent release in Quantumania has some shakiness. So yeah, a little bit more time to just let these A, breathe, and B, get visually more spectacular helps. Give it a little bit more breathing room. And plus we'll have Guardians in May. And with this new schedule, it sounds like Secret Invasion in June, Loki in like August or September, and then X-Men closing out the year. Perfect. And we don't need all of them running right back or at the same time, because I think Secret Invasion was slated for May, so then you would be watching Secret Invasion, going to see Guardians, then right around the corner would be Loki Season 2. It's like, give it some time.
Right. No, it's kind of overloading the audience for sure. Yeah. And also, let's not forget, I mean, I didn't hate Moon Knight, but visually it was kind of rough in spots. She-Hulk was rough in spots. As much as I didn't mind the way she looked as She-Hulk, it was definitely visually not quite as stunning as some of the previous work, especially like for WandaVision and for Loki. I mean, those shows looked great compared to some of the newer ones we got. So
I feel like the new crop of shows that we got were not visually is up to par as those original big three in WandaVision, Loki, and Falcon and Winter Soldier. Even I think not even just the visual effects. It's like the cinematography, the production. It just felt at a value closer to the movies. So I think if we are stepping back to give us more breathing room and give us a little more production time to help that cinematic quality a little, perfect. Let's do it. Step it back a little. Because the post-credit scene at the end of Ant-Man was very cinematic in quality, and I'm like, is Loki gonna look like that in the TV show though?
I mean, you'd like to think so, but really quick before we leave this comment in the dust, Sly brings up that Shazam's screwed because John Wick's coming out this week, and
yeah,
I don't think Shazam's taking the top box office this week. So,
this
no
week?
hope. Yeah, John Wick's coming out this week.
Oh, okay, my fault. I thought you meant from this weekend. I was like, oh shit, No, my fault. I was behind. But
I mean, going into next weekend, I don't think
Yeah.
Shazam's taking number one.
Nah, man.
But
I
we'll
think
see.
honestly, guys, I was at 2 screenings for Shazam and for John Wick this week. John Wick was IMAX, big theater, packed wall to wall. Shazam was about half the size, barely anybody there. So that right there tells you the public wants John Wick. Shazam, I can wait for streaming.
Right. And Colby thinks it's for the best as well. He was excited for both Loki and Secret Invasion, but time might do these shows some good to really hash everything out and make sure they deliver a good product.
Absolutely.
John, thanks for joining us, man. I guess he saw Shazam and he thinks he probably should have went to Dungeons and Dragons. I don't blame you, man. I'm actually super excited for that film. I've been hearing nothing but positive buzz. So
yeah, same. And yeah, AMC had that preview today. And I was gonna go Monday, but yeah, like 3 screenings back to back last week would have been a bit of a chore. But hey, Larry pointed out the Four Town hoodie. We were kind of looking at that this weekend, low, and I seen that price tag and kind of backed off.
Yeah, man. I'm ashamed. I'm admittedly a Four Townie. Super big fan of the film, and for me, this one just screamed at me. I had to rock it. So.
Oh, I hear it. John Wick is gonna put a bullet in Shazam's head. Oh man. Well, listen, Baba Yaga can't be killed, so there you go.
But yeah, man. I think this is a good thing. I think oversaturation is a very real issue, especially I think Star Wars had that effect as well. I think when you look back at Solo, a Star Wars story, and they were doing Mando at the time, and I think they were just pushing things too hard. Because I think what was it? Solo heavily underperformed after. Was that before or after Rise? I can't remember.
That was after Last Jedi.
Oh, there you go. It was after Last Jedi, and it just totally underperformed. And I think they were pushing their content too hard too. So you see the effects of that when you don't let things breathe, like you said. So.
Oh man, Colby's saying Mando season 3 having low ratings. I'm behind, y'all. I'm 2 episodes behind.
I was gonna say, I mean, I know it's not as exciting as season 2 because season 2 was so epic in every sense of the word, but I haven't minded what we got. I actually really liked the last episode we got. So, some people were saying, "Oh, it was Andor light," but I'm like, "Hey, that's fine. They're doing something different, in my opinion." So,
I'll take it because Andor was good. So
exactly. No, it's like Andor was great. I don't mind them doing some of this smaller scale stuff that just set us up for the big stuff later because I know it's coming. So, but with that being said, though, I have faith in the MCU, man. I think this is a good thing when all's said and done. What's up, Kevin? He's predicting a big box office for John Wick. I could see that 50 to 60 mil for the weekend.
60. Yeah, it'll probably do the same that Scream 6 did. Probably be the biggest opener for the franchise, possibly. Maybe I'm speaking a little ahead there, but it could be. But yeah, good prediction.
So going into our next stuff, I am so excited for this. We saw how great they looked together at the Oscars, but just after that premiered, Andrew Garfield and Miss Mia Goth, the Scream Queen herself, are set to star in Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. And I am such a huge fan of this character, going back to the Universal's incarnation of the character from 1931. And it's just, I think with Guillermo del Toro behind it, my faith is fully behind this project. And that's not even including the talents of Oscar-nominated Andrew Garfield and Mia Goth, who is on fire right now, whether it was Pearl or X or Infinity Pool. She is just the horror queen right now. I think this is a match made in heaven. Of course, we obviously got to see a trailer. We obviously got to see more details later, but I think this is a great start. How excited are you for this one, Leo?
Oh, this is going to be great. You got Oscar Isaac in it too. I mean,
I didn't hear
it's
about
just
that.
a hell of a cast, I think, so far. I mean, Guillermo del Toro with Pinocchio, how successful that did. He's going to be just pumping out projects, I think.
Yeah, and going back to he has a hand in horror, whether it was Devil's Backbone or even like Mimic, which was one of my favorite underrated creature features. I'm so excited. And honestly, I didn't hate Crimson Peak. I know that one was kind of mixed, but Guillermo del Toro's got such a great eye. He does the gothic look so well. I mean, with Crimson Peak and even Pan's Labyrinth, he really has a sense of that kind of style. I think it's just going to be dripping in gorgeous visuals. As a big fan of GDT, man, I can't wait. I am ecstatic.
Favorite movie from G. Kobe?
It's got to be Pan's Labyrinth for me, man. I mean, as much as I love Hellboy. I love Hellboy 2, Golden Army 2, but definitely Pan's Labyrinth for me.
Yeah, Pan's is great. I mean, that's top 3 Guillermo del Toro. Might be controversial, y'all. I gotta go with that new Pinocchio, guys. I think that might be my favorite GDT now of all time. That was just so beautifully heartfelt. I just every time I think about that movie, I start tearing up a little bit, man. Yeah. It's great.
Hey, that one got me too, bro.
Disney's live action didn't hold a candle to that. So listen, let that be a lesson that new storytellers and new animated studio directors can kill it and not be Disney.
Oh man, Colby, I don't even remember they did that. Is this going to be better than Victor Frankenstein with James McAvoy and Daniel Radcliffe?
I don't even remember that. I didn't even remember that till he brought it up. Damn.
Or hold up, do you remember when they were trying to make him a superhero? Who was it? Aaron, it was Two-Face, Aaron Eckhart. It was I Frankenstein or something like that. I don't know.
I said, that is some deep cutting right there. I'm like, yeah, I remember that I Frankenstein stuff.
But look, I trust GDT. In GDT we trust, and I think. Oh, he said no Pacific Rim love. Hey, honestly, I thought Pacific Rim was outstanding, but it's not my favorite.
No. But yeah, I agree with you. Pacific Rim 1. That second one was a little bit rough, but I don't think that was GDT, was it? The second?
No, I was gonna say that was definitely somebody else.
Okay, yeah. But the first one was
John
good.
said, we're going to pretend Victor Frankenstein didn't exist. Colby's liking the deep cut. I'm glad somebody knew what I was talking about. But yeah, this is outstanding news. And to go from one outstanding bit of news to another, Denzel freaking Washington and Barry Keoghan, Oscar-nominated Barry Keoghan joins Oscar-nominated Paul Mescal in Ridley Scott's upcoming Gladiator sequel. So look, I gotta say, Leo, when I first heard about, Ridley Scott wants to do a sequel, I had several questions, first of all, why? Second of all, who asked for this? But then, just knowing Ridley Scott is wholeheartedly behind the picture and being one of the people that actually liked Prometheus. I didn't think it was better than Alien by any means, but I thought he did a lot of interesting things with Prometheus that not only subverted expectations, but he delivered a good product, in my opinion. This is pretty exciting. I think the cast has me excited. I love the first Gladiator, obviously, with Russell Crowe, Joaquin Phoenix. I'm also kind of curious. I mean, is this going to be a prequel? Are we going to see a young Maximus that's with Paul Mescal? Or I'm just curious, where is this going? Is this going to be Maximus's children? I have several questions still, but I'm getting excited. How about you, man?
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. At least from the building blocks it's got already. I believe it is a sequel, if I'm not mistaken, so not a prequel. But all the people they've got around it, you're telling me Paul Mescal, Denzel Washington, and Barry Keoghan gonna be in this. So I was initially not gonna front. Initially, I was like, man, we're doing it again. Here we are with the legacy sequel crap. But I don't know, man. The more people we add on and the more details that come out, Look, I'm excited. I'm getting more excited for it. The more we talk about it, and the more we see. But I am still quite an inkling nervous just because of some of these legacy sequels that end up not panning out. Still a little bit nervous, but it seems like some of the sequels we've gotten lately have been pretty good with Scream and, well, then you look at Halloween. But anyway, it just seems to be a swinging pendulum of about great or not so great. So hopefully we're a little more along the great side. John, honestly, think it's a little too early to be saying all that. I would love for it to be, but we gotta wait.
I was just
see
gonna say
it's
a little early, John, but Ridley Scott he's been nominated for several Oscars. Tyler hit it on the nose. Did anyone watch the end of Gladiator and expect a sequel? Of course not. It ended so beautifully and so perfectly, but Colby hits this one too. Hit or miss, man. But when he hits, Ridley Scott is the man. We're talking about Blade Runner, Black Hawk Down. This guy, Alien, the original Alien, and he's a masterful director. So, I'm excited, and I don't know exactly what we're gonna get if Paul Mescal is, because I know Maximus had a couple children in the original film, right? So, no, his family died though. Yeah, his family died. So,
yeah, I'm not sure who it's following.
Right. So yeah, it's gonna be kind of interesting where we lead off from. So I think that's gonna be the biggest question.
Yeah, my fault. 100% agree. Love the first Gladiator. So whatever we can do to get back some of that love from the first, let's get some of that same gas back because we need it.
Right. And I'm actually trying to go off a checklist. I'm like, who survived that picture? So because the original film did have a great cast, but I know a lot of them didn't make it to the end. But it's definitely one of the better films in the early 2000s, and it obviously kind of kicked off the whole return of this epic swords and sandals flicks, swords and shields, whatever you want to call it. So I'm excited. I trust Ridley Scott, and just knowing he's full-heartedly behind it, I think that says a lot. So
yeah,
Colby's saying Connie Nielsen. Not really gonna turn heads into the seats, but
yeah, we'll see.
And then John saying they're trying to do sequels to movies that came out 20, 30 years ago. Look, I don't think it's the best formula, but as long as, in my opinion, if it's the original creator, passionately creating it, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, Top Gun Maverick kind of closed the deal for me in terms of, if it's good, it's gonna be good. So that's where I put my faith in.
Yeah, that damn Top Gun Maverick, that was better than the first Top Gun, if you ask me,
by miles. And I was gonna say, I wasn't excited when I sat down for it, and I walked out just damn near cheering.
Yeah, ecstatic, bro.
But yeah, no, I think it definitely says a lot about what you can do with a legacy tale. I mean, do I feel we're getting too much? Of course, but that's just Hollywood. Hollywood's going to beat a dead horse, and they're never going to learn their lesson. They're going to keep recycling those formulas until they really don't work. So, and even then, they might never stop. Who knows? Do your thing, Hollywood.
Do your thing.
And to close this out, I don't remember if we were supposed to talk about this, but did we want to bring this up, Leo?
Yeah, let's chat about it.
All right. Keanu Reeves confirms he is going to appear alongside Ana de Armas in the John Wick sequel, spin-off, Ballerina, which will focus on the tale, the coven, or whatever you want to call it, of ballerinas from, was it John Wick 2? So, I mean, look, I haven't seen the fourth one yet. I know you saw it, Leo. I'm super, super, super excited. Probably going to see it in the next couple of days. I think Ana de Armas is wonderful. I mean, besides the fact that she's beautiful, I think she's a great actress. This is exciting. I can't wait. I mean, I heard there's a comment earlier. I don't know where it went. It seems like they might take some time after this particular film.
Yeah.
But
so the director did come out and say that him and Keanu are pretty much done with the John Wick.
Okay.
So I think we're gonna go, and not forever, but they essentially put it as, we're putting Mr. Wick, we're giving Mr. Wick a rest. So I think that we're gonna not see John Wick films for a little while. This movie actually takes place between 3 and 4. So in the timeline and continuity, it's before the fourth one.
Right. And it's probably going to be more of a cameo versus like a heavy part, I imagine.
Yeah. So back in November, people were heavily speculating and they had said that Ian McShane and Keanu were coming back, and then I think Keanu just took a little more time this weekend because of John Wick around the corner saying, "Yeah, I'm definitely in it." So yeah, it's really good to be getting him back in the franchise, even though he and the director said, okay, after 4, John Wick and this franchise is taking a little bit of a break. It's nice to see that they'll try some experimentation and still include Keanu, because it feels like sometimes these like side stories will just like cut the main person, and it's like, okay, this is at least gonna have him pop up. I seen like a thumbnail earlier of like somebody asking, why didn't Puss in Boots ask Shrek for help against the coyote? And I was like, or against the wolf, and I'm like, now what Shrek gonna do against that death wolf? Like,
right. If anything, like, Puss needed Donkey and Dragon to come over. That's what he needed. You don't need
like, what
Shrek gonna do?
But yeah, I like Keanu getting back in, and honestly, I'm looking forward to it. I thought she was really good in God, the newest James Bond. She was great. I was like,
No Time to Die.
I was like, her, Lashana Lynch, Daniel Craig. Yeah, No Time to Die. I thought she was so good. So I'm looking forward to it, man. And Larry asked, where's my Halle Berry spinoff? Amen, because she was great in the third one.
She was amazing, and honestly, I didn't get enough of her. I would love to see her come back. So hopefully they figure that out.
Oh, you know what? We do. Straight up, rest in peace, Lance Reddick. Huge loss, man. Huge loss. The Wire, this, Resident Evil more recently. What a sad loss for a legend. 60 years old. First and foremost, I gotta say, I did not look at Lance Reddick and think he was 60. So that was a surprise to me. But yeah, rest in peace, Lance Reddick.
No, and you know, actors like him don't get enough love, in my opinion, especially like being more of a character actor and not like A-list top of the billing kind of actor. But that kind of work is just amazing, and there's so many of them out there. So it's definitely a huge loss, man. R.I.P. to Lance Reddick.
R.I.P. man. That's sad loss there. Setting up the JWU.
Well, I mean, if they're giving him a break, I mean, let's let Keanu rest. But I'm down for this. I think the mythology behind John Wick is just so exciting and so cool. There's so many different ways you can go. So many eclectic characters, you know, like just from what I've seen in the 4th film, and then you got this whole ballerina squad. There's so many different ways you can go here. So looks like Mike's in the building. What's up?
What up, Novice Cinephile? Good to see you, Mike. Yeah, Knock Knock. They were in that movie together, that little thriller movie.
I know. Colby was talking about some sprinkles. He's got a naughty over there.
Yeah, it was a good little movie, man. I'm looking forward to this new John Wick. So.
That was a spicy movie, Leo. That was a. There you go. Isn't that supposed to be on HBO Max?
I think so. It was either that or Stars or something. And honestly, Ballerina, I think, started as a series as well and became a movie, which better idea. And I think this is a good idea to just give John Wick a rest, give Keanu Reeves a rest, because then we get to 5, 6, 7, and 8, and we're like, oh, people are over it by then. Give it some time away. Give it a breath of fresh air.
That's the way I turned on Dom Toretto. No, just kidding.
Oh man, well.
Oh man, not to throw shade at that franchise. I mean, look, you got to know when to cut the cord, man. You got to know when enough's enough. But
yeah, you got to know when to put things to bed, or at least give them a nice hiatus. Give it a little time to rest and breathe, really. And I think this is the perfect time. You give it 4, let it have a spinoff, and then go from there.
Makes a lot of sense. But man, I am so excited to see John Wick this week. I can't wait. I'm just like,
dude, Donnie
jumping out of my seat right now.
Donnie Yen's great in the film, so I was like, wow, okay, you got Donnie Yen, Hiroyuki Sanada, and the woman who plays his daughter, I can't quite remember the name, and then there is a black guy in the movie as well. I can't quite remember their names, but they are great additions to the cast. I mean, they're just fantastic to the cast, man. Like they seriously, I was actually kind of surprised at how well they wrote those new characters in.
Yeah.
Oh, by my movie 9. Yeah, for real. Everybody's dead, even Halle Berry. No, but everybody dies by the 9th one. But yeah, no, it's like all right. Rina Sawayama. Okay, there we go.
There it
I know
is.
she is a singer. I knew you were gonna know too, Tyler. So appreciate that. But yeah, yeah, great new additions to the cast in this one. I really enjoyed it.
And
All
we
right,
had a lot of
guys.
great news.
Huh? Yeah, we had a
We had
good
a lot of great
week.
news.
Yeah, guys, let's talk about some movies though. Let's talk about some movies of the week, guys. We didn't even get to talk Scream 6 together. Let's talk about Scream 6, man. Like, that was what a fantastic sequel that was, man. Like, that was what I was bringing up earlier with legacy sequels. That is one franchise that is just killing it to me with the revival of their franchise. They, aching the opposite of Halloween, which has been a disaster. Let's be real. Halloween, that last one ends. But this Scream 6, wow, what a refreshing feeling sequel. Brings back the last cast. You make homages to the second movie. It's a good film, man. What were your just general thoughts on Scream 6?
General thoughts. I know they had to market it the way they did just to get people in the seats, and I'm glad it was successful. But man, they showed the whole movie in all those damn trailers, didn't they? But look, what they showed in the trailers was some of the best sequences in the series. Honestly, there's some really, really good sequences, especially the subway scene. Especially, I love the way that convenience store scene played out. Great tension. There was a brutality to Ghostface in this picture that I loved from the jump, from the intro scene all the way to the end of the film. It was just a very, very violent Ghostface. Not that the others weren't violent, but I like the way it was portrayed here. My only gripe is a little bit of feeling of dissatisfaction in the final act, but that was more so just my own personal taste of how I sat with it. I did feel a little bamboozled with one of the reveals, but you know what? I think that's all part of the journey. I think when you have a whodunit, when you have a mystery, you really got to mix up how you present said mystery to the audience. And I know for a fact some people loved it. For me, it kind of hit me like, I didn't love that take. But ultimately, though, the final act didn't bother me as much as I've seen other people that really didn't like it. So
yeah, same. And I actually really liked the reveal, and I really liked how akin it was to the second one. They are pretty much they're like some kind of soft reboots too. So I like that, and I like that the energy feels so similar to the second Scream movie, which for me is almost better than the first. I know that's controversial, but for me, it's almost better than the first one. I love it. I think it's one of the best sequels ever. And honestly,
you know what's interesting is that this sequel kind of combines some elements like that Ghostface lair reminded me of Scream 3.
Yeah, so it does.
You had some combinations of elements kind of all together there. So
yeah, what's going on, Movie Files in the building? Those watching John Wick 4, thumbs up, baby. Yes,
hit that like button.
Seatbelts. Hit that like button. But yeah, man, Scream 6, bro. Like you said, man, Ghostface just had this intense. I mean, he always has like a killer motive, but here it just felt like a new intensity that we hadn't really seen from Ghostface before. It felt really like it matched the energy of New York, in my opinion. It was a little more intense, a little more overbearing, and I liked that. I liked the tension in the film. I liked that small spoiler warning. We got a little close to some deaths that didn't happen. But I did like the tension and the build up to those moments a lot. And honestly, I love the reveal. I know that's a little bit of a hot take, but I love the reveal. I thought it was a cool reveal, a great way to rope the first one back in while also pretty much, excuse me, making a homage to the second one. I thought that was great. Honestly, I really like Scream 6, and it's now my third favorite in the franchise.
You know what made it for me though? Like honestly, what really made it for me, and it makes me overjoyed just to say it. Core 4, baby.
Core 4, yes,
are phenomenal. Their energy, their chemistry together they're just so likable, and I think that's a great sign for this franchise. So
listen, Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega together, we're killing it, man. Now Jenna does outact her a little, chew up them scenes a little, but still, I think together they have a very great dynamic. I love exploring this theme of letting go, right? Because there was the path, not even just what happened from Scream 1, but Sam still holding on to a lot of trauma that was from prior to Scream 1. And I like that it tied into how defensive she was over Tara, not just the attacks from movie 5, but also the trauma that has been going on with her in her own personal life. So I like that it was cool to really blend that theme in and also run with the family theme for this one and building a family and building a new family, because unfortunately the two main ladies come from a bad family. Seems like that's a commonality of most Scream queens, unfortunately. So I like them running with that theme, and I just really like Scream 6 going to a new place. Like, sheesh. Oh, somebody was saying it was filmed in Canada.
Yeah, John.
It wasn't even. Yeah,
he says,
John Lee.
Yeah, he says they filmed in Canada and it felt like it. And honestly, I kind of felt that too. I thought they could have did a little bit more with the New York stuff. I mean, minus the subway, that could have been any apartment building. You know what I mean? I didn't really feel the New York
But it's
stuff.
outside of Woodsboro. It's not Woodsboro again. You know,
Right.
You're not in Woodsboro with that
and also
store, with the alleyways. I think that it really looked like a different setting from Woodsboro, even though we didn't get a lot of time in it. I
needed more alleyway stuff. I needed more like in the streets kind of thing, but maybe that was just impossible to do.
Yeah, I didn't quite need it, but I did like the refreshing change of scope. The dipping and dodging death was a little much, says Larry. Yeah, it was a lot.
I was gonna say, as much as I don't want to let some of these folk go, it's like it kind of, I don't know. I don't want to spoil too much, but
third act was basically a repeat of 2. And I love it.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2 is one of your favorite sequels, right? Is that your number 2?
Yep, 2 is a very close number 2 behind number 1.
And I just realized that core 4 is all POC. Hell
yes,
yeah,
sir.
Man. Hell
yes,
yeah,
sir. We killing it. Slywick. All right, there, Mr. Sly. What you gonna do, man? Elliot had a good time with Scream 6, but Ghostface needs some new knives because every main character took those gut shots like champs. And not to mention, he's twisting it up in them. I'm like,
man,
y'all really survived your way through a lot of that.
I don't know what those knives are made of, man. I think maybe they're like this thin, they're made of aluminum, and they're this thick. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Whatever it is, need some new material.
You okay?
Right.
You hanging in there, Leo?
Yeah, I'm hanging in.
You sound so up, man.
I'm actually getting really cold, quite a cold. But
yeah,
we'll finish out with Shazam: Fury of the Gods. You just saw it. Let me know, man, because I think you enjoyed it a little more than me. Initial thoughts walking out the theater. How we feeling?
Yeah. Hey, no, look, seriously, look. I think this is part of it. I'm gonna be honest. I went into this film with zero expectations. I went into this film thinking it was going to be trash. I went into this film with just no regard for the character or anything in it. I was pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised by, I thought visually it looked really good, especially some of the, destructive elements. I thought it was surprisingly really well done. It was really, I think it was Weta visual effects did a really great job, especially the Philadelphia cityscapes and all the destruction with the Greek tree of life sprouting out of the Philly stadium. I thought that looked really good. Rachel Zegler is so freaking charming. She just dazzled by from the very second she hit the screen. I felt like Freddie, I forgot his last name, but I felt like him. I was like, oh, she's here. Oh my goodness, like, let me help you. Let me walk you to class real quick. She's very charming. Helen Mirren, I thought she was going to phone this in and take the paycheck, but she felt like she was really devoted to the material. She really delivered her lines well, and she had a presence to her that I enjoyed. Nothing against Mark Strong. I thought she did a really good job as the villain here. I saw some people saying earlier that they didn't care for the motivations of the characters. And look, at this point, I was kind of just having fun with the whole thing. It was a really good popcorn flick. And I'm not saying it's one of the better superhero films I've seen. It's definitely not in any of my top 25 or 30. But at the end of the day, I think what this film really did was it reminded me like, oh my God, we need like a really good Power Rangers movie or something. We need like those are some of the good vibes that I got. I was like, man, these kids would be great in like a Power Rangers film. But unfortunately, they're stuck in this transitionary DCEU film that we don't even know where it's leading. We don't even know if Zachary Levi is going to be back in this universe. And I think that's the only thing hanging over its head, but it wasn't a bad picture. Not by any means. I had a good time. And actually, I'm gonna be honest. I got really emotional in one section. It's just one of those things where it was just one of those scenes where it's like, when you feel it, you feel it. And it was kind of like a low hanging fruit kind of scene, but it happened. And I was like, you know what? I'm kind of getting emotional here. So
yeah, John, Power Rangers 2017. I'm glad you enjoyed it though, because I think there is some fun to be had. I'll be honest, I think the visuals were not good.
Really?
No. I think there are some scenes too where the flying is so slow and it's just, it looks like things. I think I seen Larry say it in the comments. Yeah, it looks like some blue and green screen work is just so obvious. And yes, Quantumania had the same issue. So I'm not saying it's only DC that Marvel does it better. No, these movies both had those issues where just feels so inorganic. And I was like, dang, I don't know. I would have liked a little bit of better CG in this as well, but I know that the $100 million budget, had to go towards a lot of that dragon. And I was like, somebody said prior to the movie that dragon looked better than a Game of Thrones dragon. And I'm going to have to go with you, Larry. I know Larry was really outspoken about this. I don't think so quite, but I mean, it was a cool looking dragon. And yeah. I did think Helen Mirren, for what she was given, did well. I wish that there was a little bit more to that character. I wish the Daughters of Atlas all together got a little bit more. I think we kind of got a little pull and tug with those characters where it was a lot for Helen Mirren at first, but then Lucy Liu emerges and does her thing. And I think that, let me not tread spoiler ground here. I apologize. I'm not quite spoiling though. But I think that I just needed a little more from the Daughters of Atlas. Agree with Rachel Zegler though. She was great. I think she's getting a little dumped on here. And I'm like, I don't know. I actually liked her and Freddie. I thought they were fun together. I thought they had a very charming little romance. I thought they even physically looked cute together.
Yeah, it felt natural. Them. It felt very natural.
It did. I liked them a lot. I liked them. I liked Freddie and Dijman together. I thought Freddie was easily the MVP of the kids. And then obviously Zachary Levi is the MVP of the adults. I think that those two were like and I'm not talking the villains, but I'm just saying the adult characters and the kids characters. It's like Freddie's like the kid you really look forward to, and then Shazam, Zachary Levi is like the adult of the team. That you're like, okay.
I gotta say though, I thought he was really, really funny and charming in the first film. He kind of borderline got a little bit annoying for me in this one. Not all of his jokes landed for me.
Not all of them did.
Yeah, but when he's on, he's
on. Yeah, and I think for me, it's the more natural stuff. Like, there's a little scene in the movie where he like plays like a training clip, and it has like the NFL Monday Night theme on. I'm like, that type of stuff is funny.
Yeah,
but like,
no, for sure.
But like him
doing a little play-by-play.
Yeah, but him doing the saving the woman in the scene, and it's got that song on, I Need a Hero, and he's like, oh, of course it's this song when I'm saving. I'm like, okay, nah. Like that's just scripted stuff that just doesn't work for me.
Also, I would have liked this movie a million times more if Sinbad was in it. I was very disappointed by the lack of Sinbad, especially from the fandom promotions. Like, he was like a part of the cast. Like,
what happened?
Where's Sinbad?
What happened to Sinbad? He wasn't even in the movie.
Yeah, not even a cameo. Nothing.
Shazammed out of the movie. Crazy. G. Colby thinks Helen Mirren did the best of what she could. As much as I like Lucy Liu, she was maybe miscast. I kind of feel like I'm with you there on that. It was maybe the writing for me for that character. There's just not a lot that she did. And then when what happened, I wasn't really that surprised. Sorry. I wasn't really that surprised, oddly enough. So, well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to spoil, but I love Lucy Liu, so I'm like, it wasn't Lucy to me. I just think the writing for that character was a little shallow.
Yeah, definitely.
But man, that cameo. Hated that cameo, man. I hated it.
It cracked me up because earlier in the film they kind of did like that. It was like the Man of Steel thing, and then it kind of like it took you by surprise. It was like, oh, it's not her yet, and it's like, oh, okay, that got me. That was fun, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't mind it. I just felt like it kept the same tone as the first Shazam with Superman having lunch with the kids. So it very much felt in that same wheelhouse. But at the same time, though, it's confusing as hell. Like, is Gal Gadot staying? Is she not? Like, I think that was my only issue with it. So
yeah, who knows? Remember, Gunn came out and was like, "Oh, she's not gone." So it's like, okay, well, what are you doing? Because y'all took Patty off that project quick,
right?
But yeah, I didn't hate Shazam. I definitely was disappointed in comparison to the first one. Yeah. But I will say, out of the adults, like Levi, really like Megan Good, really like the girl who played Mary. She was great. I think that she doesn't get enough recognition in this, but I liked the story of her going away and growing older, and that kind of story, how it conflicted with the family vibe they were going for. But that's where I'm running into some problems for me. I think they built up some very strong themes and messages that the payoff, I don't think the payoffs felt that earned. And I think that they weren't fleshed out and developed in the way I would have liked to see, unfortunately.
I would say Megan Good was adorable. She actually had one of my favorite moments in the scene. I laughed out loud, man. That whole taste the rainbow. I just jumped out of my seat. I was like, yo, this is great. Like,
it's a pretty good comment here. Feel like Zach is playing him and doesn't match with Billy. So this is actually fairly comic book accurate. And especially in the original run of Shazam, where Billy is a little more mean at the beginning. So I think that Billy Batson is kind of this mean kid, but when he becomes Shazam, the intention is, he's let loose with powers. So what's a little 17-year-old boy going to act like when he's got these cool powers? And it just kind of gasses him up a little. But I think in the second movie, the personality should have gotten a little closer. And Asher Angel, sorry if this is a spoiler, guys, but he's barely in the movie.
Yeah.
Barely.
I was just saying, he's not really in the movie at all. He doesn't really and then the scenes they give him, they don't give him a whole lot to do, minus like that one scene at the end. So what's up, T3 Media?
What's going on, man? Good to see you in the chat. But yeah, when it came to the characters those age, they really focused on Rachel Zegler and Jack Dylan Grazer. They pretty much focused on, and that was another thing I kind of didn't like. I was like, the first one had a lot more of the Shazamly. The heck, this one, not enough of the kids, not enough heartfelt moments. But
yeah,
I didn't quite hate it. It just had some good in a sea of mediocre for me. Oh, I'm glad he liked your post, and I don't hate Asher. I just think WB hates Asher.
Right? No, it's not his fault. They didn't really write him a more parts. I mean, I guess Zachary Levi is the star of the movie, but still, it's like, gotta remember who the heart of that character is there.
Right. What about the kid, the main character, the Billy Batson? But I'm glad you had fun, though. It does have some fun moments and some good laughs in it and some good times, but I'm worried about a sequel, man. I don't think there will be a Shazam 3.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm hacking up a lung here, so we're gonna skip the WTF moment of the week. Lo, let the people know where they can find you and what's coming up on your platforms, my friend. What you got coming up?
As always, you can follow me at Marcellus Durden on Twitter and Letterboxd. I'm a proud reporter, editor, and critic for The Cinema Spot. Check us out at thecinemaspot.com. I am still lagging on my Woman Talking review, but I do have a review for Creed 3. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's an awesome film. My review's on the website. We've got a lot of other great writers and editorials on there, a lot of great film reviews, show reviews. My boy John's doing, he just did Swarm. We got Yellow Jackets coming up. And this weekend, I'm so happy to report from WonderCon in Anaheim. So stay tuned for that. I'll be live tweeting from our official Twitter. And yeah, check us out at The Cinema Spot on all platforms and thecinemaspot.com.
That sounds like a lot of fun, bro. Gonna be looking forward to your WonderCon coverage. I'll be keeping track. Guys, come on back to Geekly Goods, y'all. This week we will be dropping a Cocaine Bear movie reaction, along with some coverage for Superman and Lois, and a little bit more, guys. I'm probably gonna doctor up some kind of John Wick video since got that review out already. But guys, lots coming up. If you're new to the channel, come on through and hit that subscribe button, y'all. Y'all know the drill. And guys, we'll see you next time. Same place, same time on this channel. We'll